Next on City Spotlight, we are talking education in Arthur with the Superintendent of Arthur Schools, Kenny Schwengel, and Buck Condill, the principal at Arthur High School. We will discuss how the Arthur School District has changed over the years, what impact having students from different counties have had on the school district, and also we will talk about the latest activities and projects going on in the Arthur School District. That's all coming up on City Spotlight. City Spotlight is supported by Consolidated Communications. CCI is honored to salute the cities and their leaders in the area, as well as providing TV, internet, and phone service to local homes and businesses. We live where we work and are proud to support the communities we serve. More information available at consolidated.com. And welcome to another edition of City Spotlight. Today we're talking about the education in Arthur. And joining me today is the Superintendent of Arthur Schools, Kenny Schwengel.
Hi.
And Buck Condill, the principal at Arthur High School.
Hello.
Gentlemen, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Excellent. And your first time on City Spotlight. We've had Arthur on in previous episodes. And first off, if you guys could tell us a little bit about yourselves. Kenny?
I've been superintendent now for 11 years, 9 years in Atwood-Hammond and 2 years in Arthur. And it's about my 30th year in education.
Excellent. And Buck, you're the principal at Arthur High School. Can
Yes.
you tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
This is my second year in that position. I was at the Arthur Grade School for 5 years before that as principal, and I've taught for 7 years before that. So.
Excellent. And both of you guys have been at different places within the school district, and we'll talk about exactly where and what and who's all in the school district. But what are the advantages of having been in the school district at different positions? Kenny?
I think it helps get to know everybody that's involved, whether it's non-certified staff or teachers or other principals, administrators. I think it just gives you a better background of everybody that's involved in the process.
Okay. Kenny, your thoughts on that, being at a different part of the school district and now you're at the high school?
Yeah, I think the relationships that have been built, through the both places we've been in, and me being a teacher previously and then a principal in another building and now a principal in the high school, it just helps build that team and get involvement and input from a lot of different teachers and a lot of different people in the community too.
Excellent. So. Again, thank you guys for being here. Kenny, I think a good place to start is the physical layout of the Arthur School District. Okay. Can you tell us about the schools that you have, and from there, can you tell us about any recent physical changes to them?
Okay. Basically, we're in the 4th year of an annexation with Lovington. This is the 2nd year for Atwood-Hammond. So in keeping that going, we have 3 kindergarten through 8th grade buildings. We have one in Lovington, one in Atwood-Hammond, and one in Arthur. And then we brought all the high school together in Arthur.
Junior high was moved out of the high school into the Arthur grade school?
Yes.
Talk about that component. And
before Atwood-Hammond came aboard, they added 10 additional classrooms to the Arthur grade school. So that allowed the high school to move those junior high classes out and make more room for the high school students as they came in.
Okay. And some of these changes, obviously, how has Arthur been able to take on all these other students? We're talking about students, and I'll probably bring this up a couple times, students from 3 different counties we're talking about, different school districts. How has Arthur been able to take all these students in?
It's actually 5 counties because we have Pike County and Champaign County as well. But basically moving the junior high students made a big difference. None of the elementary buildings are large enough to take all of the elementary students. So we're most likely going to have 3 elementary buildings, as we go forward. But again, moving the junior high kids out gave us the space at the high school and makes everything work just great.
And Kenny, with the different towns, Arthur, Lovington, Atwood-Hammond, and the different qualities and things that go on in these communities, how was the process with the annexation? How are they able to merge all that go on in those different communities all together? The dynamics of that, was that a challenge at all?
The 3 communities basically are very similar. So I think it was kind of a natural fit bringing all 3 communities in. The other aspect of that is our Amish community. We have 70 plus students that attend the public school there in Arthur. There's about 4,500, I think, Amish in the area. And in talking about integrating technology and so forth, they do utilize some of the technology within the classrooms. They don't take technology home, but they benefit from that as well.
A common question, or something that's just popped in my head, is why is this a good move for Arthur to be able to take on these other students in the kind of your own little regional hub for schools.
I think the annexation allows for the stability of Arthur and our education in the area, for Lovington and Atwood-Hammond as well. I think it provides that stability where a lot of other schools are struggling, and we're not far from that. I mean, I think all schools in Illinois right now, I think, are struggling, but this has given us the stability we need to go into the future and then also provide better education for our kids.
And a move for some of the other towns that are kind of now all a part of the Arthur School District. You're talking about Lovington, Atwood, and Hammond, and you guys have kind of been around in the district. For those communities to come into another town where the schools are, I wonder what that's got to be like.
I think it was a very good transition. I think we co-opted in sports. Lovington and Arthur have done so for 20 years. Atwood-Hammond and Arthur did it for 2 years prior to the annexation, but I think that kind of set the tone. It was a successful co-op. And to kind of smooth things over, I guess, as the transition into a one big district.
And Buck, I'm just curious, you're at the high school. It was a junior, senior high school, but now it's just all high school. And to have kids from different towns, and they were probably in sports, some of them were rivals, and now they're all on one team. What's the atmosphere like with having kids from many different towns?
It's fantastic. We have had no issues with the kids coming together. Having those co-op relationships in sports really helped a lot because they were teammates before we brought them into the school. And like Mr. Schwengel said, it just helps the kids be a part of something a little bit bigger and more sustainable. And they've been great in the hallways, in the classrooms, at the sporting events. It's like they've always been together. It's been really nice to be a part of.
You guys are, again, kind of the central location. You have all these people, traffic flow, whether it be for school or sports activities. What's that like, and how do you think that's been a positive thing for Arthur?
I think it's been a great thing for Arthur. It's whereas Lovington or Atwood-Hammond may have shopped in different places, now they're shopping in Arthur, and there's a lot. Arthur provides a lot for the area. So I think it's been a boost for probably the economy in Arthur, as well as just the togetherness, bringing everybody together.
And really, I mean, we just talked about, you said 5 counties of kids and people that are kind of coming to Arthur. It's really takes a lot of teamwork and communication to, because you're all in one boat together to be able to make this work. I mean, is it working like you would want it to?
I think yeah, exactly. I think like we would like for it to work. We've been blessed to have a very good staff in all 3 prior districts. They've all come together. They all work very hard. We're all, I think, student-centered, student-focused. And I mean, there's been some bumps along the way, but everybody has the same focus, the same goal, and I think we're coming together.
And I probably should have asked this question maybe a couple questions ago, but we've heard the terms annexation and co-op, and co-op is affiliated with sports. If you could maybe give us a definition what annexation and co-op are?
Right. Annexation is just a different type of reorganization or consolidation. A lot of times when 2 districts come together, they consolidate. You give up both identities and you become a new district number, a new district name, new school name. With annexation, you're basically just taking that old district in. You're still the same district, but in our case, with 3 districts coming together, we rename the high school, but the district name is still the same. Co-op typically refers to athletic teams. Atwood-Hammond used to co-op with B-Mint. And like I mentioned, prior to the annexation, 2 years we co-opted with Arthur, and Lovington has done that for a number of years before annexing as well.
Okay, so for co-op, for sports, it's Arthur-Lovington, Atwood-Hammond.
That's the name of the high school.
Okay, very good. Yeah. All right, okay, very good. And interested to hear your comments, both of you, on this. You're in a smaller school district in Arthur. How have you guys been able to manage through the years with the current state budget issues that we have in Illinois?
It's definitely been a struggle. I think we were put in a good position by the previous administration and previous board members. Our current board has been forward-thinking, and I think that's allowed us to do the things that we're doing right now financially. Without a doubt, we're going to struggle. We're, of course, eager to see what's going to happen with the state budget. We receive incentive money for the reorganization. Unfortunately, we haven't received any of that money this year, and that's going to hurt us, considerably if we do not see that money.
Okay.
And I think from a curricular standpoint, an academic standpoint, we have great teachers and good leaders in each building, and the work that's being done and to up our offerings, up our course offerings for the students has been outstanding. And through this annexation process, we, like Mr. Schwengel said, some schools are really struggling to keep a full staff and keep a full slate of offerings for their students, and we've been able to actually add programs, so it's been good.
And I find it very interesting that, a small town such as Arthur that, has a nice business district, you have lots of activities, and you have all this community, all these people that are coming into your town, and it's becoming kind of its own. I mean, I'm reemphasizing the whole school district with so many people coming in from different places. It's got to give Arthur a great sense of pride to have so much of this East Central Illinois area in its town.
Oh, absolutely. It is. I wouldn't necessarily call it a destination spot, but I mean, there's a lot that Arthur has to offer. I think there's over 450 businesses in the greater Arthur area, and you can get just about anything in Arthur.
Mm-hmm. And the sporting events not only benefits the Arthur residents, but we've seen an uptick in housing, the sales of houses and rentals in Lovington and Atwood and Hammond and the surrounding areas. People want to be a part of that district, and just, what are we, 252 square miles?
Right.
So it's a big area. Families can move in and anywhere in that district and be a part of something special. So
we've talked about the students coming from different points, counties, cities. What about staff? Have some of the staff from the other schools and the other towns been able to merge in with the Arthur?
Absolutely. That was part of the incentive funding, is to bring those staff members along as well. And we knew we were going in, we were going to probably be a little overstaffed, but through retirements and so forth, we knew we'd get down to that number. But that's also allowed us to offer more that we wouldn't have otherwise. But so yeah, we brought all the staff members from each district.
So you have multiple grade schools, and the junior high is over at the Arthur grade school.
Correct.
You didn't have to physically increase, like add onto the buildings to accommodate. You were able to just move people around, and it's kind of all worked?
Just the junior high.
Okay.
We added 10 classrooms to accommodate the junior high to the grade school, but otherwise we have the space. Like I said, we don't have enough room for one elementary or two elementaries because our numbers seem to be increasing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Next two questions I probably could ask in any order, but I'm curious, when was your last referendum, and do you have one coming up?
Well, the last referendum would have been for the annexation with Atwood-Hammond a couple years ago, but we have none in sight at this point.
Okay, very good. And kind of to go back to the buildings, do you have any building improvement projects that have transpired recently, or that you're eyeing that you could maybe talk about?
Nothing immediately. There's been some discussion about adding an additional gym to the Arthur grade school. We've also talked about possible vocational type center. Vocational education is very important in our district and very important in our community, and we have a number of community groups that are interested in trying to expand that as well, so there's some discussion about that.
Okay, excellent. Well, we're in a new school year here. We're taping this in December. People are seeing this here at the start of the new year. We want to talk about some of the activities, projects that are going on in the Arthur School District. Buck, anything unique going on at the Arthur High School?
Sure. We're right in the middle of our one-to-one initiative, which is putting a Chromebook, a laptop in every student's hands. So we have currently our sophomores and juniors all have their own device. Hopefully next year we'll outfit everybody else, so our high school will be truly a one-to-one high school. And integrating that technology into our classrooms has been, I think, better than expected so far. The students and teachers have really embraced it, and the sky's the limit. There's a lot you can do with that technology. So that's one of our biggest projects that we've been working on, and through the community support, we have donors and money coming in from organizations that has just been outstanding to help us fund that. So it's been impressive.
And that's a very good point. And this technological digital age that we're in, you're seeing more of this digital learning platform in schools. Is that something that's been a focus of to get integrated into the Arthur schools?
Oh, absolutely. There's been a concerted effort to make that happen. And beyond the high school, we're putting Chromebooks into the grade schools as well. Not quite at the same numbers, and trying to do it proportionally based on enrollments. But little by little, we're adding more and more technology to each building. And we had a big project this summer to increase our bandwidth within the high school, into the gyms and so forth. And I think we're being very progressive about that.
Yeah.
And Buck, you're a principal at a school in Arthur. How does this new digital learning platform, how does it help students learn maybe differently or better?
It's I think the best way to describe it is it gives them more opportunities to collaborate. Students working with students, students working with teachers. Things don't necessarily have to happen in the classroom anymore. We are a Google-based school, so they can share documents, they can email each other, they can message each other, and if you have a group project and all the kids are home in an evening, you can still go online and pull up that project, and everybody can contribute to it from where they are. And we've seen a lot of good things come out of that. So it's just helped with those relationships and collaboration efforts.
Are there any projects that the students in the Arthur School District are involved with the community outreach and helping, any programs like that?
Yeah, especially this time of year. We have a very active FFA chapter and an FCCLA chapter. Student council is very active. They're right in the middle of the canned food and toy drive that all our communities are a part of. Our kids just had a spaghetti supper and raised a bunch of money and donated to the drives, not only in Arthur, but in Lovington and Atwood-Hammond too. So that's been one of our big pushes this year, is service and getting our kids to be more involved in the community. And we have community members coming in all the time. We have students going out all the time. And it's been a really big emphasis for us to really get that service-oriented feeling around the communities. So it's going well.
And Kenny, the community support, schools, and I'm going to probably ask this question here shortly, the schools are at the heart of a community. How has the community support been to make all of this transition to where you have all these communities working together? How has it worked, and what have you seen?
The communities have been very supportive. Of course, the schools always seems to be the focal point, of the community, and the greater community bring in Atwood-Hammond and Lovington. But we've got all kinds of help. People are always willing to step forward and help. Businesses, just the public in general, they've been very supportive of this process, and I think they realize we're all in this together.
And you're all in this together, and now you have Arthur, Lovington, Atwood-Hammond all together. Is that it? I mean, there's no more coming in, or aren't even leaving anytime soon.
At this time, that's it. We don't have any future plans to expand, and we just want to build on what we're doing now and do a great job at it. And we've got great staff and a great team, great community, and we want to make the best of it.
Okay, excellent. I have a couple more questions left, and I'll direct this one to Buck. I kind of asked him about the schools are at the heart of a community. Talk about why people they live in the Arthur School District, whether they live in Arthur, Lovington, Atwood-Hammond. What makes the Arthur School District so great?
I think it starts with what happens at home. We've got great families and a lot of good values and hardworking people. And Kenny mentioned earlier that you can get just about anything you need in that area. Just the industrious nature of the communities is just outstanding, and starts at the home. And then we see these kids coming up through the schools, and they know right from wrong. They have good manners. They know how to work, and that's just a great base to build from. I think the area attracts hardworking families, and as a school, we benefit from that. So then, of course, from the families, the teachers take it from there, and pre-K through senior level classes, we've got teachers that care about kids and they care about their families. And if you have that, then you can do anything. So
well said. And Kenny, can you add anything to what Buck has said here about people living in Arthur, around Arthur, and they're coming into the school district? What, in your opinion, as a superintendent, what makes the Arthur School District and Arthur a great place to be?
Well, we're a bigger district, but we're not a big district. I mean, we're still a small, rural school. I think we have those same values that a lot of people, want, and they want their kids to grow up that way. So I think we still have that small school feel where we can provide and meet the needs of all the kids and the parents.
And this is our third episode we've done with Arthur, and we've learned a lot about the businesses and the hardworking people in Arthur. And does that reflect the school district in any way, that do the kids see the hardworking people in and around Arthur?
Yeah, and we're having, like we said earlier, we're having a big vocational push. We have great partners from the industrial side, from the business side, from the community development side, we go to meetings all the time with community people and business leaders, and we haven't even scratched the surface, I don't think, on how we can plug our students in to those businesses. We have a great work co-op program that we started last year, and our kids can come to classes in the morning, and then they go out to the job site in the afternoon, and they get credit for it, and they get a paycheck. So that's been going very well. It's growing. We have great partners in the area, and just teaching those kids how to work, the soft skills, show up on time and come back the next day after you get your paycheck. Knowing how to hold a job and to communicate, those are all things we work on, and I think that the community partnership with that has been just outstanding.
Excellent. And we've been talking about education in Arthur today with you gentlemen, and the comments have been great. And just in general, what makes Arthur, branching off from the education for a second here, what makes Arthur a great community? Kenny?
It's the people. It's the whole package. It's what Arthur has to provide, to its community members, school, healthcare, just every aspect of the community and the people involved. It really is the people that make it a great place to live.
And Buck, I've attended the 4th of July celebration stuff, and it's amazing. I've been to it a few times, but seeing the most recent one and the turnout, and a lot of people frolicked in for that, and it's great. Some of the unique things that you like about Arthur?
Well, I'm biased. I grew up there. So we have a very entrepreneurial spirit. I think people want to work and want to host and, make things not only good, but, elite with our programs. We have something going on almost every weekend in town. It's amazing. And with the Amish community around, of course, that's a big draw. But just the cottage industries, the small, entrepreneurial industries that are just unique. And, people can go get a dozen eggs and then go get a side of lamb and go down the road and get their shoes fixed. And it's kind of that small town, throws you back in time a little bit, and the pace is great. We don't take things too quickly around there. So it's just a great place to raise a family, and the school's strong, the people are strong. So that's why I'm sticking around. So.
Excellent. Gentlemen, my last question here as we wrap up here talking about education in Arthur. We're taping this kind of in the middle of December, but Happy New Year to everybody. Happy 2016. What's something either one of you are looking forward to in 2016, whether it be in Arthur or in the schools? Kenny?
I think from a school standpoint, taking where we're at now and just building upon that and seeing how far we can take it. We have high expectations. I think our staff has high expectations, and just continue to try to meet the needs of the students as best we can and excel in that regard.
And Buck, what's something you're looking forward to in 2016?
I think just getting further down the road. Annexation is not easy. It brings staff together, it brings students together, families together that were kind of had their own identity, and so we have a lot of work left to do, but we got the right people in the right spots, and so I'm just looking forward to getting further down the road. Time will tell, and I think we're off to a great start, and we feel solid and good about what we've done. We still have a lot to do, but we're ready for it.
Sounds like you're off to a great start with the annexation and moving forward. Arthur-Lovington, Atwood-Hammond, all in the school district together, and learned a lot here today. I've learned a lot, and hopefully our viewers have learned what's going on and how the Arthur School District has gotten to this point. So, sure. Kenny Schwengel, Superintendent of Arthur Schools, Buck Condill, the principal at Arthur High School. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much for coming on, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
I'd like to thank all of you for joining us on this latest episode of City Spotlight. As we wrap up here, let's take a look at some of the upcoming activities going on in Arthur. City Spotlight is on YouTube. Past episodes can be viewed on East Central Illinois towns that have been featured on City Spotlight. Just search on YouTube City Spotlight with the show number and the name of the town. Listed on your screen are the recent episodes of City Spotlight. City Spotlight is supported by Consolidated Communications. CCI is honored to salute the cities and their leaders in the area, as well as providing TV, internet, and phone service to local homes and businesses. We live where we work and are proud to support the communities we serve. More information available at consolidated.com.